It was the year 1858 when there was an event that became known in the summer of 1858 as the Great Stink. That's right, the Great Stink of 1858. You see, for centuries, the river, the Thames River here, was used to dispose of London's waste. From the factories that used to line the river, the tanneries, the abattoirs, or the docks, and also it was where the sewage was dumped, literally just running into the river. Now the Thames is actually a tidal river, so the low tide and this high tide. However, in the summer of 1858, it was a very warm and hot and very dry summer, so the river was a bit lower than it normally was. So what happened was, at low tide, all the muck, all the filth began to accumulate on the riverbanks, clogging up the river, and therefore the stank, so much so, the stink was such that people miles away were said to be getting sick. Even Queen Victoria herself was not impressed. She was not amused, and she said so. Now, the people were saying for years that they needed to do something about London's sewage system, other than just chucking in the river. But nothing was done. Why fix something that wasn't broken, so the story goes. Now, the politicians of the day did what politicians normally do when faced with a great crisis. They ignored it. See, even though the fact that the muck was accumulating right underneath the windows, I'm sure that the stench was going into the Parliament, they ignored the whole problem. And they did that by trying to, perfume the rooms and curtains, what have you. They even moved Parliament to Oxford at one point, till people kicked up a fuss and stink about it, so they were forced to come back. And eventually, begrudgingly, they decided, well, we better do something about this. So they appointed a chap by the name of Joseph Balthazar, whatever. And so in 1864, this chap embarked on a program of public works known as the sewage system. So he built a whole lot of sewage systems, tunnels and that, to take away London's sewer. And that's thus fixed the problem. But it's just typical, isn't it? They just ignore the problem right in their doorstep, literally. Yes, so the government allocated £3 million to fix the problem. I just walked in a whole big puddle here. They allocated £3 million to get the problem fixed up. That's quite a significant sum in those days. So yes, so London now has a sewage system that is still in existence today, and the Thames is clean. Well, a lot cleaner than what it was. This river, well, the muddy appearance comes from algae, but believe it or not, it's called diatoms, little creatures which feed on the river bed there. The river was still very polluted up to the 1950s. 1957, it was declared biologically dead. That's right, this river was declared biologically dead, despite the fact that they got rid of the sewage out of there. The factories and that were still chucking in their muck into the river. So what happened was they decided, well, it was time to clean that up. So with a lot of incentives to change things, the river is now home to about 125 different species of fish. Yes, they do live in there. That's pretty impressive. So now the river has been declared one of the cleanest rivers in Europe, believe it or not. But this is a clean river, so believe it or not, it's true.